The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Phyllis Summers hasn't had a real love story in quite some time. Although Phyllis has been trying to derail Billy Abbott's romance with Sally Spectra, she's probably just an obstacle for them to conquer on their own path to love. Phyllis feels more like an annoying interloper than real competition for Sally at this point. Despite Phyllis sliding into this storyline, it's doubtful she's gearing up for some grand new chapter with Billy. I&R seems content to let Phyllis meander along without any true romantic direction, but maybe that should change. We can think of one controversial new man for Phyllis who might become available soon. Summer Newman and Chance Chancellor are poised for a split that actually sticks in the coming months. Chance may eventually let go of Summer, since she's stuck on Kyle Abbott and dealing with jealousy over his new relationship. If Chance and Summer break up for good, who will Chance be paired up with next? There was a time when Phyllis pursued Chance, so maybe that attraction could come back and lead to flying sparks. Chance thought he had a good woman in Abby Newman, but she cheated with Devin Winters. Sharon Newman sizzled with Chance for a while, but that ultimately didn't work out either. Now Chance and Summer's romance is on the verge of ending, so he may wind up feeling lost and discouraged by all his romantic blunders. This would be a great opportunity for Chance and Phyllis to find an intriguing connection. If Phyllis falls for her daughter's ex, that news could make things messy when it comes to her relationship with Summer. Chance would also face plenty of naysayers who'd tell him to steer clear of Phyllis since she can be so problematic. However, Chance has tried chasing after good girls and may decide it's time to blow up Genoa City with a bad girl instead. Maybe a dangerous woman is just what Chance needs right about now. Whatever the case, Phyllis could use a real pairing instead of just serving as angst in Billy and Sally's love story, so stick with us for predictions on her romantic future. Hey everyone, welcome back to Radiant Serum. I'm Aubrey, and I hope your day is shining bright. Thank you for joining me. Let's jump right into today's video. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Summer Newman is having a hard time with Kyle Abbott's relationship with Claire Newman and her growing role in Harrison Abbott's life. It's clear that Summer is struggling with some insecurities that are only going to get worse from here. Of course, a lot of Summer's complicated feelings may be tied to her lingering love for Kyle. Chance Chancellor is ready to help Summer move on, but things may not go according to plan. Summer had dinner with Chance and seems on board for more meals together, so she may try to force herself to let go of Kyle, at least initially. That could spell disaster if Summer reconnects with Chance in the bedroom and ends up saying the wrong name. It's easy to imagine Summer calling out Kyle instead of Chance in a passionate moment. Summer might have a fantasy that Kyle is in bed with her and catch Chance off guard when she mistakenly blurts out her ex-husband's name under the covers. Although Chance was eager to try again with Summer, that could certainly be a deal-breaker for him. Since I&R spoilers hint that Summer will pursue Kyle in the coming months, the show might use a bedroom blunder as a strategy to get Chance out of the way. If Summer fantasizes about Kyle in bed and potentially calls Chance by the wrong name, that could open both Chance and Summer's eyes to what she really wants. It could mark a turning point where Summer shifts her focus to reuniting with Kyle and putting their family with Harrison back together. Regardless, our predictions indicate that Summer's pursuit of Kyle will lead to some shockers down the road, so we'll pass along updates once her plan kicks off. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Summer will indeed decide she wants Kyle back sooner or later. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Wednesday, January 15, force Claire to relive some of her worst memories as she comes face to face with the evil aunt who tried to ruin her life, and may not be done yet. Jordan has been cleverly lurking about town in a disguise no one will ever see through, a blonde wig, and a hat. Oh, and dark glasses. She took so much trouble to disguise her face, but not her voice, and not her coffee order. She may be willing to break out of prison, hide out in a seedy hotel room for weeks, commit murder, kidnap, and tamper with prescribed medication. But drink some disgusting instant coffee? Never. A woman should have standards. So when Claire hears a familiar voice asking for a very familiar brew, she knows who is there, and she can't help confronting the aunt of her nightmares. Billy has been told by pretty much everyone not to do what he's thinking of doing. When Lily, Crystal, Khalil, Chelsea, and Phyllis are in agreement, you've got to assume Billy is about to do something very, very stupid. But Billy doesn't see it that way. If everyone is against him, that has to mean he's on the right track. His brilliance just threatens them. Yeah, threatened. Brilliance, that's got to be it. Adam is determined to reunite with Chelsea. We're unsure why, but he's pulling out all the stops to get her to move into him and Connor. Chelsea said no, but she's starting to waver. She needs something to do. Why not this? Adam's got a surprise coming. On the Tuesday, January 14 episode of The Young and the Restless, Claire saw Jordan. Earlier, she was horrified to think that she might have heard Jordan casually ordering coffee just a few feet away from her. Claire consoled herself by calling the prison and being reassured that Jordan was still under lock and key. But things are about to get much, much worse for Claire. Could her aunt drop a bombshell on Claire that will change everything? Jordan hates the Newmans. She hates them so much that she stole Victoria and Cole's newborn baby girl and raised her to hate her family. Or so Jordan told them. Jordan went on the run, then to prison, and in the meantime, the Newmans embraced Claire and welcomed her into the family. Now Claire is working for her family company, dating the son of her family's enemy, and finally feeling secure in who she is. Not so fast. Sure, the Newmans didn't just take Jordan at her word. They tested Claire's DNA to ensure she was related, as Jordan said she was. Well, they tested somebody's DNA. How hard would it have been for Jordan to put her own sample of the tooth and hairbrushes located in her own home? The Newmans assumed they were testing Claire's DNA. But what if they were testing Jordan's? Sure, it came back as a match. But not because Claire is Cole's daughter. Because Jordan is Cole's aunt. What if Jordan tells Claire she is not the long-lost baby Eve Nickel? Claire will be horrified. She won't want to lose her newfound family. And what if Jordan promises to keep it a secret? As long as Claire does her one little favor. Oh, maybe more than one. Maybe a lot more than one. Look who's under Jordan's thumb again. For the Wednesday, January 15 episode of The Young and the Restless, spoiler photos show that Jordan's not-so-clever disguise doesn't do much to hide her identity. Jordan's time stalking about Genoa City may be coming to an end. Her secret little life isn't so secret anymore now that she's come face to face with Claire. There's no way Claire will let her monster aunt get away with causing more chaos, right? Judging by the photos, Jordan looks quite amused to be chatting it up with her niece. In fact, she's smiling nearly the whole time. Dare we say she looks quite amused and not scared at all. And it's not like Claire is in attack mode with her hands tucked in her coat pockets. Very curious. What's really going on here? The Young and the Restless recap for Tuesday, January 14, reveals that Claire's nightmare has come true. Her aunt Jordan isn't in prison, and she's in Genoa City. Meanwhile, Sharon struggles with her mind while her family desperately tries to find her. Plus, Victoria gives Chelsea unexpected advice. At Crimson Lights, Mariah, Tessa, and Claire discussed Sharon's mysterious disappearance. Maria believed her mother was alive. Claire suggested that Sharon may have vanished on purpose, but Maria didn't buy it. She suspected Ian Ward was involved. Tessa revealed that Victor's security team monitored Ian. Maria was convinced that Ian was up to no good. Claire told them how seeing a familiar drink ordered triggered a PTSD flashback. They vowed to find Sharon and stop Ian. In the sewer, Sharon regained consciousness. She imagined Nick rescuing her. She struggled with the effects of drugs and tried to find an escape. At Society, Nick asked Chance about the investigation. Nick was convinced Ian had something to do with Sharon's disappearance. Chance urged caution and worried Nick was letting his emotions cloud his judgment. Nick wondered if Ian had a partner helping him. At a motel, Ian argued with Jordan. She was frustrated with his plans and their faltering scheme. After a heated exchange, Jordan revealed she had hidden Sharon safely and threatened to expose Ian if he betrayed her. Disguised, Claire saw Jordan at Crimson Lights. Claire chased her out of the coffee shop and into the park. Jordan revealed her identity with a chilling "Hello, kitten." Chelsea walks into the jazz lounge and Victoria greets her. She asks if she'll join her for a drink of bourbon. Chelsea is staying away from the dark stuff and orders a martini. Victoria heard what happened with her, Billy, and Adam, and says if she wants to talk about it, she's a pretty decent listener. Claire walks into Crimson Light's patio and asks Maria and Tessa if there's been anything on Sharon. Maria says they haven't. Tessa adds that it's like she vanished. Maria questions, why can't they find her? Looking at Claire's expression, Maria assures that her mother isn't dead. If she was, she'd feel it. I would know. Claire's sure she'll turn up. Maria goes over this not making sense. Sharon was excited on New Year's Eve and back on her meds. Claire starts to say something but stops. Maria urges her to continue. Claire grimaces, even if you might not like what I have to say. Claire wonders if Sharon doesn't want to be found. Maria nixes the idea that she ran off. They just got proof that she didn't kill Heather. Claire learns that hypnosis revealed someone else was at the scene. Maria and Tessa insist she was on solid ground. Maria crabs that Ian showing up when Sharon disappeared can't be a coincidence. Tessa says Victor's security team is following him around. Maria says he can walk through walls and security teams. I threatened to kill him if I saw his face again. Tessa tells her Ian was at Society earlier. Maria gawps, what? She tells Tessa he's trying to get under their skin and is relieved to hear that Abby threw him out. Tessa says he wanted to make amends. Maria protests, it's all lies. Ian is up to something and it's not good. In the sewer, Sharon hears someone calling her name. Nick appears and she says she knew he would come. He assures her she's going to be Oak and breaks the chains with his bare hands. Then he disappears into thin air. Sharon calls, Nick? Nick? She realizes that Nick wasn't real and the drugs must still be in her system. At Society, Summer thanks Chance for inviting her to meet him. Chance thinks they should do it again sometime. She agrees. Nick comes in looking for news on Sharon. Chance says there's no new information, but his guys are working around the clock. Chance makes a call and there's still no update. Summer asks if her dad is sure Sharon didn't run. Nick says she had no reason to do that. She was on track and looking forward to getting answers. Summer frowns. None of this makes any sense. Chance agrees, finding Sharon's car in the river with all of the doors and windows shut. It's like she got out before it went in. Nick asks, what if Sharon was never in the car in the first place? Jordan opens the door of the motel to Ian and asks where the hell he's been. She dumps his coffee in the plant and demands answers. Ian doesn't like her tone. Jordan doesn't like him sneaking out without a word. He was attending to their business. She asks, ours or yours? She points out he's led their enemies to their door and are far from accomplishing what they set out to do. So Ian, what the hell is going on? Jordan points out Nick Newman threatened to kill him. Is that part of the plan? Ian told the police the Newmans have it in for him, a chaplain. Jordan learns he went to Society to grow his connection with Tessa. Abby kicked him out, but he managed to convince Tessa he's somewhat responsible for her well-being. He wants the best for her, Mariah, and Aria, and for Jordan as well. Jordan's skeptical. Ian is sure once he gets back in good with the young women, there will be a clear path to Claire. Jordan sees that he's done nothing for her. She's tired of him telling her to have patience. She's not going to get screwed over. From now on, she'll take her own agenda into her own hands. I am terminating this partnership toot to sweet. In the jazz lounge, Chelsea tells Victoria that this wasn't Adam's fault. They made this mistake together. She asks her not to bash him. Victoria says there's no judgment, surprising Chelsea. Victoria says she has her issues with Adam, but he's stepped up and has been a good father to Connor, who is a child in crisis. It makes sense they would have gotten closer, and no one would be surprised if they got back together. Chelsea tells her Victor also mentioned that to her. Suddenly, he's cheerleading the cause. Victor smirks, no pressure or anything. She thinks he sees what she does. She and Adam are better together for Connor. Chelsea says they're not her and Cole. They were given a miracle and fell back in love. She's happy for her, but given their history, it would be a terrible idea for her and Adam to get back together. She admits Adam wants her to move into the ranch, but she told him it would be a romance-free zone. Victoria doesn't think her moving in would be the worst idea. At Society, Nick tells Summer and Chance that Sharon wouldn't have had time to get out of the car after it went in the river. Someone else must have put it there. Nick tells Chance that Sharon was targeted and framed. What if the same person who tainted her meds also killed Heather? Chance sees this as a stretch. Summer guesses the person left Sharon to take the fall. Chance asks if Nick is proposing that it's the same person who put her car in the river. Is this part of his whole Ian theory? Nick doesn't think the timing could be a coincidence. It's possible it is, but his gut is telling him otherwise. In the sewer, Sharon continues to hear Nick's voice telling her to hold on. He'll find her and bring her home. In the motel, Ian tells Jordan they're a great team and are making progress. Jordan tells him he's only used her to get what he wants, and now the Newmans are crawling all over them. Ian blames her. She's been careless. Nick got a hold of Sharon's tainted meds, and now there's a police investigation. It's inexcusable. Talk turns to Sharon and Jordan says he wanted her gone. I did exactly that. Ian wanted her dead, but she isn't. Is she? At Crimson Lights, Claire and Tessa urge Mariah to believe that Sharon is going to come home. Claire reminds her Ian may be horrible, but he has no power anymore. Nikki told her about his past. He was stopped before and will be stopped again. She muses that he and her Aunt Jordan are so much alike. She doesn't know what she'd do if she had to come face to face with her again as Maria had to with Ian. Maria says it knocked the breath out of her. Claire tells them about overhearing the woman ordering Jordan's drink earlier. What are the odds of someone ordering something so distinctive? She was so freaked out she called the prison, and they assured her she was still locked up. Maria's glad. They don't need two crazies running around town. Claire tells Mariah and Tessa that if Jordan got out, she doesn't know what she'd do. They go over her being sentenced for life. Maria declares that they have to get Sharon home safe and sound, and then they can deal with getting Ian out of their lives. In the motel room, Ian tells Jordan that everything depends on Sharon's body being found, Phyllis being framed, and Mariah seeking comfort in his arms. Hammering his fist on the table, Ian demands the truth about what happened with Sharon. Jordan won't be grilled like some flunky. Ian complains that Sharon wasn't even in the car. He overheard Chance talking to another cop. What the hell did you do with Sharon? In the jazz lounge, Chelsea tells Victoria that Connor wants her to move in with Adam on the ranch. She wants to be there for him. Victoria's impressed with how he's handled his OCD so far. Chelsea couldn't be prouder. Victoria can't tell her how much she admires her, and Adam for that matter. If Johnny or Katie were facing something like that, she doesn't know what she'd do. Chelsea is sure she'd know exactly what to do. Victoria hopes she'll consider moving for the sake of Connor's mental health. She's a good influence on Adam, who could use all the good influences he can get. Chelsea isn't sure she's ready to commit to living under the same roof as him again. Victoria says she'd be making a commitment to Connor. Chelsea says Adam doesn't see the difference. At Society, Chance makes a call and then tells Nick he knows he's concerned about Ian targeting his family, but he was there when Sharon went missing. Summer admits that's hard to explain. Nick wonders if he followed her and got to her. He recalls that Ian asked Tessa for a reservation for 2 on New Year's. What if he's not working alone? Nick goes on about needing clues. He asks Summer to keep Phyllis in her lane in the meantime. Summer says she's sworn to back off of Sharon now. It's a New Year's resolution or something. She said they need to forget about their issues with Sharon and move on with their lives. She's sure karma will kick in. Nick rolls his eyes. Summer tells her father that his theory that Sharon wasn't in the car should give him some comfort. Nick worries someone is holding her hostage and letting them think she's dead. What would be the motive, and who would do something so extreme? In the motel room, Jordan tells Ian that she put Sharon alone somewhere safe. She'll never escape. Ian can't understand what she's thinking. Jordan has needs too, and if they're not taken care of, she'll take care of them herself. They bicker as Ian tells her she's just created a new loose end. Jordan won't stand for him belittling her. One person's loose end could be another person's insurance policy, especially now that their partnership is over. Ian croons about keeping her warm at night, but she grabs her things to leave. He warns that turning her back on him wouldn't be wise. As a man of the cloth, he can't find out about the murder of a young woman and stay silent, especially when he knows who the killer is. Jordan hisses that if he exposes her as Heather's murderer, she'll tell the police where Sharon is, and every shred of evidence will put him right there. Ian warns if she walks out the door, there's no coming back. Jordan tells him good luck and to have a nice life, forever. She leaves and Ian yells in frustration. At Crimson Lights, Claire walks inside from the patio as Jordan's ordering again. She asks, "Jordan?" Jordan takes off with Claire on her heels. Alone in the jazz lounge, Chelsea looks at a photo of her, Adam, and Connor and sighs. She calls him and asks if they can meet. She's made a decision about moving to the ranch. At Society, Chance is dismayed to hear that Nick went to confront Ian at his motel room. Nick had to look him in the eye and demand answers. He denied it, of course. Chance throws up his hands. He's sure Nick didn't threaten him. He warns that he needs to let the professionals handle this. Summer worries he's working with someone as twisted as he is. Nick is convinced of it. Placing himself in a public place at the time Sharon went missing may just be one huge misdirection. In the sewer, Sharon sips her water and tugs on the chain. She wishes there was something she could use, some way out of there. Spotting a black pipe, she struggles to reach it. Young and restless Nikki is already dealing with the reappearance of dastardly Ian Ward in Genoa City, so the return of another frightful figure from the past may just be enough to push her to the brink and send her over the edge. Claire has recently had 2 near misses with her Aunt Jordan and is about to realize that creepy feeling she got after those encounters was for good reason. Jordan is out of prison and running around town ordering oolongs and Americanos in a blonde waving glasses. Young and restless spoilers assure us that Claire will alert Victoria and Nikki to Jordan's return immediately, which will only compound the anxiety her grandmother has been feeling over Ian. Nikki's stress is indeed about to skyrocket, and we all know what happened the last time she dealt with the return of the woman who forced her off the wagon with a vodka IV. She began drinking again. We'd like to think that the blonde matriarch is strong enough to face the return of Jordan without taking refuge in a bottle, but on the heels of Ian's comeback, there's no question she'll be tempted. Heck, teasers even have Victor becoming suspicious of his wife toward week's end. With Nikki and Claire helming Chancellor Industries, the sudden shift in focus to Jordan's return could provide an opportunity for someone looking to get their foot back in the door at the firm, someone like Billy. The Newman's villain problems aren't going to go away overnight, and if Nikki falls off the wagon again, the company could well become a sitting duck. We already have a hunch that Billy and Sally's romantic plans will be scuttled by Phyllis, and this news would surely lure him from Paris. Jordan's return, as the Newmans are already facing the threat of Ian, is bound to rock the family, who can only have their irons in so many fires. Can Nikki and Claire battle the madwoman and stave off a takeover attempt at Chancellor simultaneously? The Young and the Restless spoilers are gearing up for an ultimate face-off between Claire Newman and Jordan. The lady was there in Claire's life for a good few years, acting as a guiding light. However, Jordan's mentorship ended when her pupil finally saw through her facade. Now, Claire's sixth sense is tingling again, and she might have a crazy run-in with her aunt. The Young and the Restless spoilers kick off the week at a coffee house. Claire is chilling at the cafe until Esther Valentine reads out a very specific oolong tea order. Claire quickly recalls how Jordan would have her tea the same way, and it sends shivers down her spine. Subsequently, she turns her guard on and eventually fills Nikki Newman in on the strange occurrence. However, Nikki discards her granddaughter's concerns, reminding her how Jordan is locked up far away. However, the week of January 13 to 17 will validate Claire's gut feeling in a big way. The girl will finally catch Jordan standing in the same queue as hers at Crimson Lights. But there's a catch. She's fooling around in disguise and pulling off that British accent. The audacity. However, Claire doesn't fall for the disguise and recognizes her aunt's voice. The girl feels as if she has seen a ghost and reports the sighting to Nikki and Victoria right away. But the Newman duo is still not buying that Jordan is back and may not even keep Victor in the loop. In the meantime, Claire is willing to show Jordan that she has come out of her damsel in distress cocoon. Claire always saw Jordan in a good light, thinking she always had her best interests at heart. But she won't let her aunt torment and steal her happy moments ever again. Now, Claire can have a heated exchange of words or a full-blown physical clash. Whatever the case, she's not letting Jordan ruin the fabulous Newman life she's built. However, Jordan isn't a newbie to get outsmarted just like that. What if Jordan tries to kidnap Claire? For now, Claire has no intention of backing down. After all, she has worked hard to get that Newman glow up and get to the stage to love someone. Don't be surprised if she ends up cornering Jordan. The Young and the Restless spoilers recall that ever since Audra Charles arrived in Genoa City, she has proven herself to be a seductress, siren, and an absolute corporate shark. With every move she made, it became abundantly clear that she would go to any lengths to fulfill her ambitions, even if it means being manipulative and vindictive. Tucker McCall truly bore the brunt of getting caught in Audra's tentacles, and we all know how that ended. However, in recent My and Our episodes, we saw a different side of her, a softer and more vulnerable side. But is it for real, or is it yet another page from her playbook? The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that ever since Audra and Nate have gotten close, she has emerged as an entirely new person. Someone who is gentle and sweet. Her personality seems like a stark contrast from what it used to be. In fact, we even saw her get all emotional and teary at Devin and Abby's wedding. Later, she confided in Nate about her family and her past. Suddenly, the corporate shark started to look more human than we had ever seen her before. Even if it is a genuine change, is it a change that will last? It is possible that Audra has sort of hung up her horn temporarily due to a lack of opportunity. But if the right opportunity was to present itself, would Audra go back to her bad girl ways? We know a new player has arrived on the scene, Damien, Nate's half-brother. Some spoilers indicate that Newbie D will spell some trouble in GC. Could Audra join forces with him behind Nate's back? Damien wants to make some investments, and we know that's Audra's fort. It is possible that making some dealings with Damien will remind her how much fun she used to have as a baddie. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Tuesday, January 14, promise some interesting plot twists in the land of Jino City. Coming up on The Young and the Restless. Someone's revenge scheme takes a dangerous turn, while a character has a working theory on a missing person, and two people realize they have more in common than they once thought. What's set to unravel during Tuesday's show? Time to find out. The Young and the Restless spoilers. Sharon Newman in dire circumstances. E&R spoilers for Tuesday, January 14, imply that if fans didn't think that Sharon Newman was in dire circumstances before, her predicament is about to take an even more dangerous turn. What happens now? Sharon is running out of time and resources, so is there something else that could unfold to worsen the situation for her? Only time will tell. Y&R spoilers. Nick Newman to the rescue. Speaking of Sharon, Y&R spoilers for Tuesday, January 14, suggest that Nick Newman will have a theory about Sharon's disappearance and share it with Chance Chancellor. Obviously, Nick believes that Ian Ward has something to do with Sharon going missing, but can these two put the pieces of this puzzle together in time to save their ex? Fans will have to tune in to find out. The Young and the Restless spoilers. Chelsea Lawson finds common ground with Victoria Newman. Across town, Y&R spoilers for Tuesday's episode reveal Chelsea Lawson and Victoria Newman will find out they have more in common than they think. As Chelsea struggles with the idea of moving in with Adam Newman at the Newman Ranch for Connor Newman's sake, will Vicky offer up some words of wisdom? These two ladies have never been close, considering the common bond they share with Johnny Abbott. Still, Chelsea might be apprehensive about moving in with Adam, especially with the idea that this could trigger a romantic reunion. Still, as Victoria recently enjoyed a nice reunion with her ex, Cole Howard, will she encourage Chelsea to take the leap of faith? The Young and the Restless spoilers and updates tease the week of January 13 to 17 promises to be thrilling in numerous ways. To start, Claire Newman will finally have her suspicions validated regarding her Aunt Jordan being on the loose. The Young and the Restless spoilers. Claire Grace's uneasy feeling. Fans might remember that in the episode aired on Friday, January 10, Claire experienced a strange sensation. Deja vu hit at the coffee house when Esther Valentine recited an oolong tea order that mirrored her aunt's exact preferences. The meticulous details of the order sent a shiver down Claire's spine, leaving her feeling unsettled. Upon returning to the Chancellor offices, she shared the eerie incident with Nikki Newman, but her grandmother dismissed it lightly. After all, with Jordan behind bars and Victor Newman ensuring the family's safety with strict security measures, there seemed to be no cause for concern. Y&R spoilers. Claire Grace threatens Jordan Howard. As we leap into the week of January 13 to 17, the latest preview for Y&R reveals that Claire is set to catch Jordan red-handed at Crimson once more. Disguised and absorbed in her phone, Jordan stands in line, blissfully unaware of Claire lurking just behind her. The moment Jordan receives her order and expresses her gratitude to the server, Claire's ears perk up at the familiar voice, prompting her to confront her aunt. As the week unfolds, Claire will share the shocking encounter with Nikki and Victoria Newman, but will they take her seriously? Will Victor be brought into the conversation? It's uncertain, but one thing is clear. When the episode airs on Friday, January 17, expect an explosive showdown between Claire and Jordan. The Young and the Restless spoilers. Claire Grace will mean business. Claire is ready to confront her aunt with a serious threat. There's a possibility that Jordan might try to kidnap Claire, or Claire could confront her aunt directly. Either way, Claire is done being scared of her Aunt Jordan, has taken too many joyful years from her, and Claire won't let her take any more. Now that Claire is thriving as a Newman and enjoying a passionate relationship with Kyle Abbott, her only concern is going backward. Is there a chance Claire and Jordan could end up in a physical fight? They might exchange harsh words, But if Jordan threatens Claire's freedom, she will fight back. No matter the situation, Claire will do whatever it takes to stop Jordan for good, not just for herself, but also for her family's safety. Chelsea found a surprising friend when she needed someone to talk to. Victoria told her she knew about her troubles with Billy and Adam and offered to lend an ear. She even told her she cast no judgment on whatever Chelsea shared. Chelsea confided that Adam, Victor, and then Connor had all asked her to move to the ranch to live with Adam and their son, but it was Connor's request that had her seriously considering it. The problem was that she didn't want to get back together with Adam, and she wasn't sure he would be convinced that no meant no if they cohabitated. On Wednesday, Chelsea will have made a decision about moving into the ranch, and it takes the usually unflappable Adam off guard. Is Chelsea going to agree to live at the ranch house with Adam and Connor? And if so, will Adam fully understand it's not the first step to a reunion? If Claire couldn't believe her ears when she thought she heard Jordan's voice at Crimson Lights, imagine how mind-blown she was when she caught up with her aunt and confirmed it was her. Standing before her in person, Claire is shocked. Claire had just called the prison and confirmed that Jordan was still locked up where she belonged. So how does her aunt explain why she's in Genoa City? Jordan relies on her disguises, but she had a near miss with Claire earlier. Did she hope to run into her again? Jordan's gone rogue and dumped Ian, Ray Wise, as her partner. Does she have an actual plan, or is she just thinking fast on her feet? Billy has been telling people about his plans to get revenge on Victor by taking back Chancellor and gotten a lack of support in return. He hasn't been able to rally up the troops to form an army, and in fact, everyone he has talked to has told him not to bother and get on with his life. Then there's Phyllis, who agreed to help him with his revenge plot on the condition he would employ Daniel once he got back Chancellor. However, Billy's been keeping Phyllis at arm's length and accused her of being involved in Sharon's disappearance while agreeing to run off to Paris with Sally. Chelsea bumped into Victoria in the jazz club as she ordered a double dirty martini with extra olives. Victoria invited her to join her for a drink. Victoria shocked Chelsea by saying she had heard what happened between her, Billy, and Adam. "If you want to talk about it, I'm a pretty decent listener," Victoria said. Chelsea confided that what happened was not just Adam's fault, and she was equally guilty. Victoria said things happen and wouldn't judge. She added that she had issues with Adam in the past, but saw a lot of changes in him over the past year. Victoria noted that given the work they had been doing with Connor and his OCD, it was only natural that Adam and Chelsea would get closer. She told Chelsea that no one would be surprised if they got back together. Chelsea let out a heavy sigh. Chelsea noted that Victor was suddenly championing the cause as well. She told Victoria that her reunion with Cole over their child was a beautiful story, but it wasn't hers and Adam's. Chelsea thought that, given their history, she and Adam should never be a couple again. Chelsea admitted that Adam wanted her to move to the ranch, and Victoria thought it wasn't a bad idea, even though Chelsea made it clear to her and Adam that it would be strictly platonic and that she would have her own space. Chelsea explained that Connor's request for her to move into the ranch made sense. Victoria admired Chelsea's commitment to Connor and thought Victoria would do the same if she were in her position. Chelsea agreed, but they laughed when she said she couldn't see Billy wanting to move to the ranch to co-parent with her. Chelsea asked Victoria for her opinion about moving to the ranch. "I think you're a good influence on Adam," Victoria said. Chelsea knew Adam was stronger when he felt supported, but she didn't think she could live under the same roof. Victoria pointed out she wouldn't be committing to Adam by moving to the ranch. She'd be committing to Connor. "Victoria, I don't think Adam sees the difference," Chelsea told her. After Victoria left, Chelsea called Adam and asked to meet him. She said she made a decision about moving into the ranch. At Crimson Lights, Claire saw Mariah and Tessa and asked if there was any news about Sharon. She told her that they found the car, but there was no sign of Sharon. Maria could tell by the look on Claire's face she thought Sharon could be dead. Maria explained she was wrong, and she would know if her mom was dead as she would feel it. Maria recounted how Sharon had been her old self again, and it made no sense that she would vanish. Claire asked if Sharon couldn't be found because she didn't want to be. Maria said Sharon wouldn't just run off. Maria pointed out that when Sharon thought she was guilty of Heather's murder, she stayed to face her punishment, and she had just found out that someone else was there, so she wouldn't take off now when there was a chance of vindication. Maria didn't think it was a coincidence that Ian was in town. Tessa pointed out that Ian said Vicoder's security team was following him, which Claire thought must be comforting. Maria said Ian was so slick that it meant nothing. Maria shared that when she saw him in the park, she threatened to kill him if she saw his face again. Tessa admitted that Ian was at society earlier. Tessa said that she knew Ian was just trying to get under their skin, and Abby banned him from the place. Maria wanted to know exactly what Ian said to her. Tessa explained that Ian wanted to see if she was okay, and he wanted to make amends. Maria said it was all lies. Maria was very upset about Sharon, so Tessa and Claire consoled her. Claire shared the stories that Nikki had told her about Ian, but reminded them how Ian had been stopped and thought he would be again. She added that the stories reminded her about her aunt Jordan. Claire didn't know what she would do if she had to come face to face with her again. Maria recounted how seeing Ian knocked the wind out of her. Claire said she had a similar scare earlier and told them how she heard Jordan's tea order and wondered if it was her. "I swear to God I had a PTSD flashback," Claire said. She wondered what the chances were of someone else ordering an oolong tea with a gave and half. Claire said it freaked her out so badly that she called the prison to ensure that Jordan was still locked up. Maria thought that it was good that Claire called the prison. "We don't need two crazies running around," she added. Maria said she would find peace after Sharon was found, and Ian was banished from their lives. In the sewer, Sharon heard Nick come in and find her. He immediately started to try and break the chain that bound her to the pipe. Sharon gushed that she knew he'd be the one to save her. As Nick tried to break the chain, he made a loud noise. Startled, Sharon snapped out of it and realized she was alone. Sharon cried, realizing that seeing Nick wasn't real. She wondered if drugs were still in her system. Sharon weakly asked herself how this could be happening. She could hear Nick's voice telling her to hold on, and he would find her. Sharon drank some water, and then thought there must be something she could use to find a way out. She saw a metal rod on the stairs nearby, but it was just out of her reach. Nick came into society and saw Summer and Chance enjoying their evening. He asked if Chance had any information about Sharon's disappearance, but he didn't, so he called the station to confirm. Summer shared that Phyllis thought Sharon was just up to her games. Nick argued that Sharon was back on track and wouldn't just up and disappear like that. They all agreed that none of it makes sense. Chance thought that the car doors and windows being shut indicated she got out before it went into the river. What if Sharon was never in the car in the first place? Nick asked Chance. Chance asked Nick where he was going with that idea. Nick didn't know. Nick recounted the possibility of the scenario that Sharon could have gotten out of the car in time before it went underwater. He suggested that someone else put it there. Chance wanted to know who and why someone would do that. "I don't know, but there's a lot of crazy around us," Nick said. "Let's look at the sequence of events," Nick offered. He pointed out that Sharon was targeted for months. Someone tainted her meds and framed her for Heather's murder. Nick thought the same person could be behind it all, but Chance thought that was a stretch. "It doesn't mean I'm wrong," Nick argued. He pointed out that someone got Sharon high on PCP, and she was confronting Heather, but someone else was in the room. Nick said they needed to consider the latest wild card. "Is this your Ian Ward theory?" Chance said slightly snidely, and Summer sighed. Nick pointed out that Ian was obsessed with Mariah and the Newmans. Chance agreed Ian was a threat, but thought it was a coincidence that he was back in town at the same time Sharon went missing. Nick said his gut said otherwise. Chance told Nick he was a witness to Ian being at society the night Sharon went missing. Nick said he could have gotten to Sharon before he and Faith arrived, but Chance thought that was speculation. He told Nick he needed a hell of a lot more than that as proof. Nick pointed out that Tessa told him that Ian had asked for a table for two that night and suggested he wasn't working alone. Chance stared as Nick and Summer discussed Phyllis' New Year's resolution to back off obsessing about Sharon. Nick thought it was out of character, but Summer thought Phyllis was trying to turn a new leaf. Nick wondered where Sharon was and if she was being held prisoner. Nick admitted that he went to see Ian. He explained he needed to look him in the eye and demand some answers. Chance thought Nick had escalated the situation. "I want to work with you. I'm trying," Chance snapped. He told Nick to let the professionals handle it. Nick was sure the key to finding Sharon was figuring out who Ian was working with. In the motel room, Jordan saw Ian coming through the window. "Finally, where the hell have you been?" she barked. He spotted the coffee she brought for him, but said she had brought it over an hour ago and was angry, so she dumped it in the plant. Ian claimed to have been out working on their plan, but Jordan didn't believe he was doing anything for her part of the plan. She growled that she wanted to know where he was and why he brought their enemies to their door. Ian said that Nick coming by the motel room had just played into his plan. He explained that he had sent a letter to the police warning that he could be in danger of the Newmans. He added that he went to society to affirm his connection with Tessa. He tried to tell Jordan that the plan was the same, and he was also working for her benefit. Ian seemed sure that if he could win over Mariah and Tessa, he'd have an all-access pass to Claire for her. He told Jordan it was a process and she needed patience. Jordan warned she wasn't going to get screwed over and was about to take matters into her own hands. "I am terminating this partnership, tout de suite," she told him. Ian blamed Jordan for the Newmans being watching them and called her careless for Nick finding out about Sharon's meds being tampered. He said her new failure was unforgivable. "You wanted her gone. I did exactly that," Jordan said. "I wanted Sharon dead, but she isn't, is she?" Ian glowered. Ian demanded that Jordan tell him the truth, but she refused. Ian said he had overheard Chance saying that the car was empty. "What the hell did you do with Sharon?" Ian asked. Jordan admitted she put Sharon somewhere safe where she wouldn't escape. "After everything I've done for you, our well-laid-out plans, you went rogue?" Ian asked. Jordan said she was stifled in their relationship, and her needs were being taken care of. She and Ian began arguing, and Jordan felt as though Ian was mansplaining and belittling her. She said she wouldn't stand for it anymore. And by the way, one person's loose ends could be another person's insurance policy, which will come in very handy now that this partnership is over, Jordan said. Ian told her she didn't mean it, but Jordan told him she was already out the door. "Honey, who's going to keep you warm at night?" Ian soothed. "As if," Jordan sneered. Ian warned her she didn't want to turn her back on him. "As a man of the cloth, I can't in good conscience know of a murder of a young woman and stay silent when I know who the killer is," Ian threatened. Jordan told him if he turned her in, she'd tell the cops where Sharon was. "And every shred of evidence will put you right there," Jordan said. Ian warned Jordan if she walked out the door, there was no going back. "Good luck with Mariah, and have a nice life, Reverend," Jordan said as she walked out the door. Enraged, Ian yelled in frustration with clenched fists. At Crimson Lights, Jordan appeared wearing her disguise. She ordered an oolong tea with a gave and half. Behind her, Claire said goodbye to Mariah and Tessa and came inside. As Jordan took her tea and said thank you, Claire heard her and said, "Jordan?" Her aunt stiffened up, then bolted out the door. "Wait," Claire called out before chasing after her. Jordan made it to the park when Claire came up behind her and called her name. Jordan stopped, took off her glasses, and turned dramatically. "Hello, kitten," she smiled. "My God, it is you," Claire said, horrified. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Your opinions matter, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.